I'm Dr. Walsh-Aziz. I may know some of you either by face or name or otherwise. Please feel free to eat, especially if you're spread out, no problem there. So this is one of our, what we're calling Lunch and Learn, because this time we're talking to you and you're going to learn some things. In this one, we're going to talk about advising because spring semester is already around the corner. And so this is going to highlight specifically what's happening in our department for SLHS classes in spring 2022 and things that you might need to be aware of. This should not be your only advising appointment, so please reach out to the advisors, and there'll be information on for you about that on here as well. I'll also be able to post this when we post the recording. We can post the slides with you, so you don't have to take furious notes necessarily. Actually, let me, for the people online, let me share my screen here. Okay. All right. So there we go. Strange. Sorry, there's something I'm seeing over here that's strange. All right. So some things to know. Online classes, which I think a lot of you stayed over for 25-30, won't probably apply to you anymore. But just so that you know, we do have some online classes, meaning the entire class is taught online. There actually are a handful that maybe you would be interested in. I take that back. Which means all of the classes are online. There is no in-person component. There's no required meeting times of those courses. The rest of the classes are going to be hybrid. I'm going to take a quick sip of my water here. Which this, for spring semester, are clarifying that means the majority of the coursework or content is probably going to be on campus. There are going to be required meeting times. The preferred method of meeting is in person, especially because some of these classes have an interactive component that we are really, really emphasizing that you need to be in person to get that full interactive and how we design the course to be learned. There may be options for virtual participation, but they're going to be a lot more limited, especially than they have been this semester, and probably more on a case-by-case basis. So basically what I'm saying is don't bank on that you can just do all of your courses virtually next semester. So if you have any questions about that, you may need to reach out to a specific professor for a specific course on how they're designing the course. But otherwise, just kind of plan on that you need to have an in-person component, and that is the preferred method and the best method for you to get that content. Okay. So what that means. Okay, that's weird. I have to do that twice, but whatever. All right. No, it's okay. You're doing great. Okay. So this is a lot of text, but these are the courses we're offering next semester. There are a few courses that are not listed here. The courses that are not listed would be SLHS 4100, which is Language Differences and Disorders, and SLHS 4610, which is Oral Rehabilitation. Another course that's not listed here, it's not a required course, is SLHS 3000, Foundations of Disability Studies Through Media. That course is actually going to be offered in the summer. So if you're interested in that course and you wanted to take it and you still have the time, it is a potential for you to take that in the summer, but it is not going to be offered this spring. Yes.
Sorry, could you say again which course?
Yeah, I will. SLH, or in the summer specifically, it's SLHS 3000. Okay. Foundations of Disability Studies Through Media. It will be an 8-week course in the summer and probably completely online. Yeah, mostly. Yeah, so as I said, our online courses are Intro to Communication and Language Acquisition is actually going to have, so SLHS 1500 and 2100. 2100 is actually going to have 2 sections, so you can have a choice in that class of either taking it with the hybrid approach where you do have to come in person or completely online. That's the only course that we're offering 2 sections. at the current moment. Other courses that are not required, especially of bachelor's necessarily, although they can be used as electives, are SLHS 2990, Intro to Health Communication, and SLHS 4530, Neural Bases of Communication. Notice that these say first 8 week, and second 8 week. That means that they are still a 3-credit course, but they are condensed into 8-week portions. Intro to Health Communication will start at the beginning of the semester, so I believe that's January 18th. So that will start in the beginning of the semester. This course would not start until March. Typically in spring, it's the week before spring break is when this class would start, the Neural Bases of Communication. Again, they are still 3-credit courses, even though they're only 8 weeks long. So you understand that part. Again, those 2 courses are not required courses of our majors, but can be used as electives. We encourage 4530, depending on your status of what classes you've taken. We're definitely encouraging this for individuals interested in graduate programs. Neural Bases of Communication is a course that some graduate programs, including our own, are required. If you've taken anatomy and physiology, not this semester, but a previous semester, you may want to talk to an advisor about whether or not you need to take this course, even if you're interested in our graduate program. So just keep that in mind. A course that was not taught this semester and will probably be in a rotation. We're going to start rotating some classes that are appearing in some semesters and not others. 4200, speech sound disorders, was not offered this semester in the fall and will probably only be offered in the spring from now on. So keep that in mind if you're looking ahead at courses. That 4200 is going to be one that's offered in the spring, not fall. And what you can guess from what I'm telling you now is that 4610 and 4100, which is language disorders, are only going to be offered in the fall. Both of those courses are offered this semester, but will not be offered in the spring from now on, most likely. Finally, one other thing I wanted to point out was about senior experiences. There's technically 2 choices for senior experiences. If you're a bachelor-seeking student, you need to have a senior experience as part of your degree program. That can be done in your minor, but if you'd like it to be done in the major, we have 2 choices. 4300, which is a general kind of, it's what fits your needs, basically. It's a lot like an independent study. If you go with 4300, you would definitely have to talk and consult with one of the professors to figure out what's going to work for you or what you might need in that senior experience. This is only 3 credits. The other option, which is technically closed, is for this coming spring, is SLPA. So in the future, if you're planning on doing a senior experience and you're interested in doing SLPA, that can be your senior experience. Just make sure that you've applied for it. That one actually requires an application and a certain GPA, and you basically have to have all of your courses completed and or be taking 4610 at the same time. 4610 is oral rehab. So if you have any questions about SLPA, just generally or for your senior experience, please feel free to ask questions. Also, as I said, I'm going to post up some resources here for future discussion. Similar to this semester, you have a question, just one second. Similar to this semester, we're going to be having Tuesday, Thursday classes. I don't know off the top of my head exactly when each one of these is being taught, but they're definitely on Tuesday and Thursday, very similar schedule with this nice little break in between for lunchtime on those days. So if it's a hybrid class, they're going to be either meeting on Tuesday or Thursday, just once a week. Taylor, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry, I missed like what you said in the beginning, like which classes are not there. So the
Yes.
3530
is there. Did I not put it up there? Yeah. It's supposed to be up there.
Okay,
That's my
good.
fault.
Because I was Stressed, okay.
Sorry, I forgot to put it up there. I'll fix that before I post it. 3530, it will be offered every semester.
And that's a hybrid, that'll be a hybrid.
That will be hybrid, yes. Sorry about that. And that's the anatomy and physiology of speech and hearing.
So what I heard you say earlier about 4530, if you've recently taken an anatomy class, you could possibly like test out of that class or?
So, yes, that's a good question. So this course, we've changed our curriculum. So if you took our anatomy and physiology course, not this semester, but previous semesters, when it was worth 4 credits, you got some of this information.
Okay.
Also, if you took 3600 with us previously, you got some of this information. Also, if you took, there was a 1 credit course that hasn't been offered for a few semesters, that might be something that we would supplement with if you already had our old anatomy and physiology course, which covered some of this material.
Okay.
So that's why I said if you've taken not just any anatomy and physiology, but like it was SLHS 3511 was the old course number, anatomy and physiology. If you took SLHS 3511, I would highly recommend talking to one of us about whether or not we think you would need this course to cover specifically our requirements. You might need it for another program, but if you're interested in our requirements, you might have met, or at least closer to have met the content in this course already. At least partially. Yeah, sure. Yes.
Do you know which classes will be offered in the summer?
Offered in the summer, like I said, for sure, SLHS 3000. Potentially, the last 2 summers we've offered SLHS 1500. Other than that, that's probably the only courses that would be offered in the summer for the program. We're actually going to be starting our graduate program in the summer, so some of our time is going to be taken up with that. But yes, so as far as undergraduate, at least 3000 will be 1500 potentially. They would both be online.
Thank you.
Yeah.
SLHS 3300, the principles of an intervention and assessment. So it gets us supposedly the 25 hours of observation and helps for getting into grad schools.
Yes.
If we get, can we count our SLPA program towards that 25 hours?
Good question. No, because you need the 25 hours completed before you're in the SLPA program. That's a requirement of your SLPA application, is to complete the 25 observation hours. SLPA is hands-on, there is observation components to it, but the main goal in SLPA is that you're actually providing therapy. So you're doing beyond observation there. Thanks, good question. Yeah, Natalie.
Going off of that, if you already have some observation hours, can you use them in that class?
Yes, you can. I'll be teaching that one next semester, and we are still figuring out exactly how that works. Ideally, though, we want you getting those hours in that class. So yes, I just wouldn't like go out this, like if you haven't gone and gotten hours on your own yet, don't do that. If you have an opportunity though, yes, go ahead and use that opportunity. It's good to have more observation hours though too. So it'll probably be as the situations occur in that class in that semester, you can apply that information and we'll make those decisions. Kind of a game time decision. Sorry, I've been listening to football. Yeah.
What was the class you said again that to be doing SLPA when you have like the majority of your major finished? What class do you need to be taking with that again?
That's oral rehab, and you don't 4610. You don't have to be taking it at the same time. I actually recommend that you, if you can, to not do that, because SLPA is 7 hours, 7 credit hours, and you need to set aside at least 2 full days in your schedule to go to your placement. So It's not that you can't take any other classes when you're doing SLPA, but if you can really devote as much time as you can towards that placement, you're gonna have a better experience, is what I tend to see. But technically, you can take 4610 at the same time, which is oral rehab. You can take that at the same time as you're doing your SLPA. So if you're wondering, can I apply for SLPA in fall of 2022? We can talk about that if you only have that one class left.
Can you say just one more time, what were the classes so
That
that
are
won't,
missing?
that aren't gonna be offered like spring versus
Yep.
fall?
So, most likely from now on, I'll go with what's happening in the fall. 4610 and 4100 are going to be offered in the fall only. And then 4200 and 4200 and just 4200 is going to be offered in the spring. You got that right? So fall is 4100 and 4610. Fall only, 4200 is spring only. Also, 4530 is a spring only class. This is our first time doing the class in spring 2021. This will also be, I know there was 2 of them. This is also a spring only class. So if you're interested in taking this class and you're eligible, which means you've already finished 3530, you have to have already taken 3530 or our old 3511 if that's something that interests you. Then you can take this class this spring, otherwise you have to wait till next spring. And again, it's not a required course for us, but many graduate programs want you to take that. Yes.
I have a quick question. Did you mention like 4510 in either?
So there has been a change in numbering. 4510 is 4100.
And is that going to be in fall?
That will be in the fall, not in this coming spring though.
Okay.
Yes. If for some reason you're thinking, and actually let me just, let me do this first. If you're wondering about, I thought I was going to graduate, like you thought spring, May, you thought you were going to graduate, but you don't see 4100 and you need it, you don't see 4610 and you need it, please get in touch with us. We're creating a list. We are not going to let you, we're not going to make you extend your graduation. There are ways that we can still get you that content, help you to graduate. From our records, it's probably going to be very small numbers, we think. If it ends up being larger than we think, there may be a class gets created, but our goal is to kind of narrow in on when those particular classes are offered. So if you thought there was specifically 4100 was going to be offered or 4610 was going to be offered and you don't see it, please reach out to us, schedule an appointment with one of us, send an email, whatever it is that might help you with that. Again, for those resources, this is a link that I think most of you see on the bottom of our signatures if you ever email us. It's also on the website. Thank you, Shannon. It's also on the website, an SLHS website. Just so you know, the schedule of when these classes are actually going to be, like I said, Tuesday or Thursday, that should be available to you as of October 11th. So you'll get to see the schedule on the main MSU Denver website, October 11th. October 25th is earliest registration. Take a look at the academic calendar. Depending on your last name and how many credits you have, you might be after that date. So just go ahead and take a look at that calendar. That's going to be the earliest. So and I really suggest that you do this, get in touch with an advisor prior to October 25th, but probably after October 11th. It doesn't have to be in that range, but that is kind of the sweet spot of being able to pick out classes if you haven't already, and go over any questions you might have. If you already know you're in a bind because of 4100 or 4610 not being offered, reach out to us sooner than later. Okay?
Does it really matter? This is my first semester, but does it really matter? I mean, we just set up an appointment with an advisor. We can talk to any of you.
Yeah.
We don't have like a set.
Yeah, it's totally your preference. Yes, exactly. We all communicate. There's like a whole, there's an online area where we put our notes in from every meeting that you can see as well.
Okay.
So if someone else has talked with you, I can go back and look at their notes. That's no problem. Yep. Okay. What to do if, I already talked about this one, reach out to us as soon as possible if you thought you were going to graduate and you don't see the class you need. If you're unsure about what does senior experience mean, what does upper division mean, plan a meeting sooner rather than later so we can talk about those things. Also, if you're unsure what classes to take next, like I said, if you're just thinking about spring, you can probably wait till after October 11th, but either way, you can still reach out to us. As far as if you get an error, so we're hoping this won't happen, but there's a good chance you might get an error when you're registering for classes. We did a lot of changes with the curriculum. They're still not totally fixed. There's bugs in the system. So if for some reason you get an error and something says, you can't get in this class or you can't be in this class, no reason to panic. Just reach out to one of us. Again, you don't have to even schedule an appointment necessarily. You can just email one of us to say, you can email Shannon who can pass it on to us. And just saying, hey, I'm getting this error message. Can someone help me? Most likely it's a very easy fix on our end. And then ideally within just a day or two, you'll be able to get yourself registered. Okay, so don't panic if you get a message like that. It can happen, it's okay. We want you in the class, most likely. All right. Thank you for asking questions along the way. Are there any other questions? I think that's all I have left here. And I'll put this, oops. Actually here, I'll fix this while we're talking. Oh, here we go. It probably won't come up though. Right. Yeah. Stop presenting. Ah, there it is. That's normal. Okay, so now complete list. Let's yeah, Joe.
What, I missed, where do we go again to sign up for an advising appointment? Like, where do we do that?
Let's see if I can, the website will be kind to me here. Never. You should be able to search for, when your computer decides to listen to you. Search for.
You also have the QR codes, don't you?
Yeah,
they're outside.
I'll just get them.
Okay.
We have a QR code you can just scan and it takes you right to the web.
Cool. Oh, it was. Okay, cool. So if you just go to our main website and then it should be right here, SLHS Advising, and it will take you here. You can select, you have to select what kind of appointment you want first. I think you can probably play around with that after the fact, but so if you want a phone appointment, then it will give you our options. So right now, I guess Shiv is the one who's available today. So Shiv is available, Dr. Santana is available by phone today, virtually, or no, that's in person, sorry. And yeah, in person, mine are Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know everyone else's. I only know mine, but yeah. So that's the way you can make those appointments.
And did you, so those of you who are degree seeking or registered as degree seeking, you'll notice in your degree progress report, you have a professional advisor listed. Likely it's listed, did you already talk about this?
No, I didn't.
As Claire
Emily
Coast or
Harold.
Emily Harold,
Yeah.
She's gone.
Yes.
They are really meant to support when you're first getting into the major. So at this point in time, you should be, if you haven't already, connecting with an SLHS advisor, a faculty advisor. That's going to be your best plan. Not that Claire and Emily may, or Emily's not here, Claire might not be able to assist, but where you all are right now, you should be meeting with faculty advisors. So keep that in mind. You might get prompted to meet with a professional advisor because they send out just kind of robocall emails, but you should for sure be meeting with a faculty advisor. Also keeping in mind terms like senior experience, upper division, if you are not completing a bachelor's degree with us, those are not applicable. Those are terms that are applicable for degree seeking students who are getting a bachelor's degree conferred from MSU. Sorry about that.
Nope, that's perfect.
Oh, I have one more thing to say. Please don't email us each individually with issues, because then what happens is I respond, Dr. Walsh-Aziz responds, and that's really like a time suck, for lack of a better word, if she's spending time responding and I am. So just be purposeful in terms of if you're emailing me because it's the Anatomy and Physiology of Speech course, or even Shannon is a great kind of central resource, and then she can direct it accordingly. We're just finding that students are emailing each of us individually without giving indication that 3 other people have also received the same email.
Thank you. That's good.
So did you say you would recommend waiting till next week to do an advising appointment?
It depends on what your needs are. So if you feel like your needs are less schedule-y based, you can absolutely schedule an appointment as soon as you want. If they're really based on when is this class and questions like that, I would wait until that schedule comes out. And if you still have questions, then get in contact.
Yeah, when in doubt, schedule. I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I have time on Thursday that's still open.
I think I have time, a little bit of time tomorrow. I actually did get some appointments. Any other questions?
I put the QR code, so if you scan that, it's on the bulletin board, the bottom one, I think, and takes you right to our advising online scheduler. And then the top one is the webpage.
As far as who's teaching the classes, I think most of you know, or some of you may know, Dr. Santan's going to be out on maternity leave. Dr. McGuire will be teaching clinical phonetics, but she is partially retired. So that's the only course she's going to be teaching, and then the rest of them will be taken up by myself or Dr. Rossi Katz and/or an affiliate yet to be named. So when you look at the schedule, you might see a lot of TBA, TBD for instructors, but we are in the lookout and have some wonderful people in mind already, and those will get posted as soon as we know.
I think most of the upper divisions we know.
Yes.
Because you're doing 3,300, Dr. McGuire's doing 3,200, I'm going to keep with 3,530. Diagnostic audiology, that's TBD. Dr. Walsh-Aziz is doing speech disorders and differences, and we have Dr. Glick doing neural bases. So for probably most of you in this class, a lot of the main ones we have slotted.
Yeah. And like I said, senior experience is kind of based off of your own interests. So depending on potentially, if you're doing senior experience, you've probably already taken at least some of these upper division courses. So if there's a certain professor that you think you want to work with, or that you think would have your best interests in mind as far as like what your interests are, reach out to that particular professor to help you navigate your senior experience. Information.
And that's for degree-seeking students.
Yes, degree-seeking students only. If you're leveling, you don't have to worry about taking 4,300 at all.